Hi, my name is Amanda Schrader, and I teach 8th and 9th grade science at Greater Nanticoke Area High School in Nanticoke, Pennsylvania. The first purpose of this podcast is to serve as a model of podcasting for my students. The second purpose is to give some insight into the PlantingScience project that I implemented with my students during spring 2014. The PlantingScience Wonder of Seeds module addresses the following Pennsylvania state standards for science and technology. Likewise, the project aligns with the following Pennsylvania core standards for science and technical subjects. As many states are beginning to use the next generation science standards, I am also including them. As you can see, the Wonder of Seeds module addresses multiple cross-cutting concepts and scientific practices. It also teaches disciplinary core ideas about germination, plant growth, and how these two core ideas are linked. The essential question students sought to answer over the course of the project was, how can using the scientific method help clarify what germination is and what's required for it to take place? My learning objectives for my students included discovering the answer to the essential question and realizing through their own experiences that the scientific method is really a cycle of steps which are often repeated, researched, and revised. There are so many wonderful aspects involved with PlantingScience projects. Students truly are scientists as they learn new information and techniques, and then apply what they've learned to design their own research investigation. After gaining results and coming to conclusions, students then create a product to share their research findings. Each team of 3 to 4 students is assigned a different scientist mentor. The mentor provides feedback and advice, often sharing information from his or her own academic background and research experiences. Each student team also has their own PlantingScience website. As the team completes the inquiry process, members post the parts of their experiment on this website. They communicate with their mentor in a blog embedded in the page. In turn, the team's experiment becomes part of an extensive international research community. Throughout the PlantingScience unit, my students used many forms of technology and greatly enhanced their 21st century workforce skills. They used Mac computers, the internet, an online science research platform, PlantingScience.org, an online learning platform, Schoology.com, blogging, website building, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Excel, Keynote, iMovie, GarageBand, digital cameras, webcams, and Skype. My students also use the following list of scientific equipment. During their experimental design process, students viewed available equipment and supplies, brainstorming about how they could be used. Students were highly encouraged to think outside the box. Even if we didn't have a material that they needed at the planning stage, students were aware that we could obtain or borrow equipment or supplies if we needed to. We often improvised using household items purchased from a grocery store. This is how materials were displayed for students as they developed questions to investigate in our lab. The activity that set the stage for our PlantingScience project was the 8th and 9th grade corn competition that students participated in at the beginning of the school year. Immersion activities include creating Wisconsin fast plant discovery necklaces, conducting a raisin and prune imbibition lab, making observations of dry and germinating seeds, and dissecting a red kidney bean. some photos of students as they carried out their experimental procedures. Here is some video recorded by students using a digital camera. As you can see, the students came up with a creative, intriguing experimental design. They used a humidifier within a covered plastic tub to answer the question, could seeds grow using only evaporated water? As their experiment progressed, the team made adjustments to their setup, such as melting holes into the tub so that some of the mist could escape. This was one of the most inventively engineered projects I have ever seen my students create. All of the scientist mentors volunteer their time and expertise to guide students on their planting science journey. They highly value education and work in universities, private industry, and government agencies. This year, 43 scientists collaborated with Greater Nanticoke Area High School, either as project mentors or by doing Skype video conferences. Our mentors are located in 23 U.S. states and the Virgin Islands. Here's a group pic of all 43 of our scientists. Many thanks go out to each and every one of you. Here are some screenshots from during our Skype sessions. Each of my 6 classes got the amazing opportunity to Skype with 2 or 3 scientists at one time. All of our student teams presented proposals of their experiments to the scientists, and then the scientists gave invaluable feedback and advice. After the student teams finished their research and podcasts, we watched the podcasts in class. Students evaluated the projects in their class by voting in polls I created using Schoology.com. Project categories included Best Overall Science Experiment. 2 of our GNA teams received the honor of having their projects recognized as star projects. The 4-leaf clover won for making presentations, and the Unizeeves won for online communication. 3 of our other teams were also nominated: Scientists or Not, MSMC, and the Cool Cat Crew. GNA High School was among 8 other schools to participate in the Wonder of Seeds module this year. Over 20 sponsors support PlantingScience.org. I'd like to personally thank all of them on behalf of my school, my students, and myself. On the PlantingScience.org website, you can access team websites in a few different ways. First, during an active research session, start with looking under Featured Teams. This is an area for some of the best projects from the current session. It's a very special honor for a team's project to be showcased on the homepage. The featured teams are updated weekly, so students are always checking to see if they made it here. As you can see, Nanticoke students are representing their school and community very well. Click on the Projects button. To search for projects from this session only, select Greater Nanticoke Area from the drop-down menu and click Search. There are 39 teams this session that can be found here. Scroll down to see links from each team's website. Click Next to see remaining projects on the next page. When viewing a team's website, there are some important things to look for. Under Research Information, you can see parts of the student's experiment that they filled in as they completed the inquiry process. Under Research Information, you can see the team's research question, predictions, experimental design, and conclusions. Under the Project Data area, you can see uploaded files from the team's projects. For instance, the Unizebes have uploaded journals, images, and a video file. You can click on any of these to see a better view.
Hello, our name is Unizebes. Our question is, do different liquids work better than water? Our hypothesis is that water or apple juice will grow the best and bleach will kill the clovers.
One of the best parts of planting science is that each team gets assigned their own scientist mentor. To view the blogging area, scroll down beneath the research information. The newest post will always be on top. So the best way to view the blog is by starting at the bottom and working your way up. After the Planting Science project ended, 121 of my students filled out a survey. This survey was about the learning environment in my class, which I created using Google Docs. To give you an idea of the survey items and rating scales, I included some interesting data in this podcast. It turns out that 55% of my students do like science in general. 50% of my students said that the Planting Science project made them like science more than they did before this school year. 80% of my students would rather do hands-on activities than worksheets using a textbook. 59% like doing projects on the computer. 63% of my students said that they would like to do a Planting Science project again. In spring 2014, Nanticoke area was the only school in Pennsylvania that participated in the Planting Science program. Moreover, the students' innovative multimedia podcasts raised the bar for other student teams in the United States and internationally. To conclude this podcast, I will end with a quote posted on my classroom door. As Gandhi once said, "You must be the change you wish to see in the world." Through the Planting Science project this year, my students have contributed their own research to the world. They should be extremely proud of their hard work, creativity, and perseverance to excel.